Hey, what's up, Singapore, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we will share with you guys a very long-awaited stream breeder in Vietnam, and his name is Hop Bui. Hop Bui, thanks for inviting us, to Vietnam and allowing us to actually be here to see your very wonderful stream room. And I really like that picture over there. It's really nice, and now we will go directly into your stream tanks, and we take a look at how you actually set it up. I think a lot of people are very interested and what are the secrets to it. So in general, maybe you can share with us how many tanks you have, how you do the setup, and we can start from there.
I'm running around 390 tanks in these two rooms.
Okay.
And the setup, as you can see, is pretty much as simple as possible.
That is something that we have always been talking about. Simple. What is simple? Because whenever I talk about simple, people think about like, oh, we should add this, should we add that, should we, what do you do? First, we have a tank.
Yeah.
First, we have an aquarium tank.
Yeah.
And then what do you put in the tank?
Just some soil.
Soil. What soil do you use?
ADA. Only
Okay, ADA,
yes.
ADA soil. And what kind of filtration do you use?
Sponge filter, as you can see.
Sponge filter. So all these are sponge
only
filters.
sponge filter.
And for the video, that's the reason why it's not working at this point, because we turn it off because of the sound.
Yes, you made me turn it off.
But the thing is that he only does tank, soil, and sponge filter. And maybe you can share with us a little bit here, what do you really use to start the tank, and then your input and output of the water. How do you do it?
What do you mean, how do I do it? I use Cycle T, which is a part of what I use to start my tank.
Right.
And its own nature stuff.
And then the float valve?
Yeah, just with my RO system straight into the tank.
Straight into the tank?
Yep.
Is it fast? I look at it as it's fast.
Yeah, I want it to be as fast as possible, really.
Fast?
Yes.
Will the stream die?
Well, it doesn't affect the shrimp really, because I always use clean water.
Right.
And
so
if anything, it's helped the shrimps.
So it goes as fast as it can,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So it doesn't you don't do dripping into the tank during water change?
No, never.
Never. Okay. I think that's what we have in similarly, that we have very fast input of the water. Then how do you remove the water? You use I
got a pump to suck
pump
everything out.
to suck the water out.
Yep.
Right? Okay. So do you do 10%?
I usually do, depends on the tank. Some tank need a bit more, some tank need a bit less. So I do it myself.
Correct.
Whenever I do. But
okay.
In general, 10 to 15%.
10 to 15%.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
To keep it fresh.
Keep them fresh.
Yeah.
And then after you remove the water, you put the water back in.
Yeah, straight in.
And do you remineralize the water after you put the water in? Or do you remineralize the water outside the tank?
I'll do it inside the tank.
Inside the tank,
so I measure the TDS and then match it.
Okay.
To put mineral in to become whatever I run it at, which is 90 to 100 TDS.
90 to 100. Okay. Yeah. So that means the water that goes in from here
is
zero.
Yeah.
Zero TDS, more or less, right? It's zero
less
TDS.
than 5.
Yeah. And then you remineralize it in the tank.
Yes.
Not outside the tank.
Never outside the tank. It's too much effort. Yes.
So what made you switch to such a method? Because I've seen a lot of breeders who tried to work on dripping and their water change system, and it takes a lot of time, in my opinion. But why did you adopt this? Is it because of time that you wanted to save?
I always started as this method, and as I can see through the years, it doesn't really affect the shrimp. And if anything, the quicker the flow of new water will give the shrimp something fresh. They like it a bit more.
Right.
And for me, it's not a problem at all.
It's not a problem,
yeah,
right?
It's not a problem.
So it's like rain. When it rains,
Indeed. That's what I'm trying to make. Yes.
Right? So how do we convince people that this is fine?
That's
because
I don't want to convince anyone, but for example, with the amount of shrimps I have, the tanks I have.
Right.
If I do drips, and I'll be here every day, all day, to finish changing all the water in these tanks.
Right.
It doesn't really affect the shrimp, so why wouldn't I do it?
Right. So maybe we can swing around, and then I think you are doing some resets, right?
I am a worker is catching shrimps a bit.
So you have somebody to help you
Yes.
to do all the resets and the tanks. So when you do your resets like this, what do you normally do? Like this?
I
Do you
tend to
like
catch out all the shrimps
catch
and
out all the streams,
clean the tank, remove everything possible.
and then you clean the glass and
Yes.
everything, right? And then you
Yep.
siphon everything out.
Yes, definitely.
So it's like a hard reset. And
it is a hard reset I'm doing
reset.
right now.
Right, right. And then let's walk through. You have a lot of tanks over here.
Yes,
And
this room
we
is 192 tanks.
190. And I see that you have a lot of bags of ADA soy.
Yes, I'm stocking up because they stop
Stocking up.
stop making it. Yeah.
And you know, when we walk through this, I think a lot of people are maybe curious about, you know, what are all these labels over here? And then there's a lot of like 1.
So those are for me to keep track of the death of the shrimps because I have a lot of tanks. So my workers every morning they go around checking every tank, and if there's any death, they mark. So when I come to the shrimp tank, I can just look at it without asking anyone and get the understanding of the tank conditions and that whatnot.
Right. So these are like indicators to tell you, okay, what they are.
Yeah, what happened between the tanks.
And I think one interesting thing is that as we go through the tanks, we see a lot of X. So this is like, what are they? X means what? X is good or not good?
X is just there to show me that this tank has been done. As in, like for me, every 3 weeks.
Right.
Or after 3 weeks, I do a cycle.
Right.
I do a water change.
Yes.
And this X means that this tank is almost ready for
shrimps.
the shrimps.
Right.
And it's also for the worker to understand that this has been done. So the worker doesn't
do it
Yeah.
again. So it's like a safety measure.
Yes.
The
and
tank is ready.
it's an X because it's easy to see.
Right.
And straight to your face.
So I think a lot of people are very curious, you know, how do you actually see that the tank is ready? You know, we talk a lot about, you know, like copy pots,
Yes,
cyclops,
that's one sign,
and,
yes.
and that. So what if people wants to have the tank cycle in 1 day, 2 days?
I don't know if that is possible to cycle a tank in 2 days, but for me, a sign of a tank that's ready for shrimp
Right.
is, let's say, algae growth,
Yep.
part of algae.
Like
At
this.
least, yeah,
On the
the tank
tank.
run for at least 3 weeks.
3 weeks,
Yeah.
right?
At least 3 weeks.
least 3 weeks.
To be safe, yes.
Yes.
You
right.
could do it earlier, but
Not-
there's a lot of risk involved.
Right.
Which back in the day, I used to do 2 weeks
Right.
cycle.
Not
So
2
now-
days.
Yeah, no, not 2 days. Unless you want to kill your shrimp, yeah, you can. What I pay attention to is the shrimp behavior itself.
The stream behavior.
Yes.
So when we talk about the stream behavior, we talk about the activity of the stream, we talk about
Yes.
how they feed, talk about how they swim around, and when you feed them, or what are some of the signs you think that it is important for breeders and hobbyists to actually know and learn how to actually tell that the tank is okay or not so okay?
For me, personally, I see a tank that is okay when there are signs of copepod.
Yep, coffee pots.
Yeah. Secondly, is the shrimp behavior
Right.
itself.
Okay.
So the shrimps are bottom feeder, and they are always active eating.
Okay.
And the more active they are, the healthier they are. So what I really want to look for is if they are actively moving around, grazing the food,
Right.
or are they
right.
just idle, sitting around.
Something like moving.
Yes. Oh,
Maybe
we have
this
a chance.
is,
yeah. So something like this, actually. They always
Like
move
this.
around.
They move around and then they feed.
Yes.
Okay.
Same with
Like
every single
this.
tank. Yep. The moment the shrimp start hiding behind your sponge filter, that's when you should be scared.
You should be concerned about and start to think about what is
What to
gonna
do, yes.
happen. Okay. So these are some of the things that is, I think we have been sharing this a lot with a lot of breeders, but still a lot of people are very concerned about, oh, if my stream, one of them died, what do I do? Do I add more stuff in the tank? Do I add beneficial bacteria? Do I do a 50% water change? Or should I do a combination of everything together and then try to save the tank?
For me, I think the less is actually more. So unless you have a death every day for a week, let the shrimp adapt to the tank
Right.
and just watch the shrimp. Really, just don't do anything to it. If the shrimp are still breeding or they're still actively eating, then you shouldn't do anything.
Right.
Just watch it.
So living things die. So having 1 or 2
Oh, of
streams.
course. I have shrimp dies every day.
Yeah, every day.
Every morning there's throughout my tank I should have at least 20 to 30 shrimp dies.
Right.
Every morning.
So it's like how many percent? Like 1-2%?
Less than 1%.
Less than 1%, right?
Yes.
So
Which is very normal.
yeah. So from a hobby standpoint, because they have, let's say, 1 tank, and they have 10 streams, and then 1 die, it's 10%.
Yes, but
So it
shrimp need
becomes-
to adapt.
Yeah.
Especially with new tanks. When you release your shrimps in, you should expect death because they will start molting to adapt to the tank.
Right.
And that is very normal.
Right.
As long as they are actively and start eating and their sign of your tank is cycled.
Cycle,
of course,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
The shrimp behaviors and activity is my main focus on a shrimp tank.
Right. But how do we teach or how do we share that with, is it through experience you can learn this?
I guess that many new shrimpers get scared when there's death in the tanks, but
Right.
with shrimps, I think everything comes down to being patient and waiting and letting them adapt.
Right.
And the first few months are very important for the shrimp tank overall progress. So as long as you don't play around with it too much and you set it up as your method,
Right.
and if everything, let's just say the moths are growing and the shrimp are active, then there's not much to change.
There's not much. Okay.
And the rest is just enjoy watching the shrimp eating. That's
Right,
I
so-
think that's all it is.
So that's, I think, a very important part that people will, I think breeders or hobbies need to accept that they have to go through that. And
Yes.
maybe we just touch on a little bit now on a little more in-depth type of streams information. So, for example, we've seen a lot of your streams over here. We have like boas, we have like red fancies, we have like your
Yep.
hornets and all that. Your focus has always, I mean, just visually, observation-wise, you have always been very strong in your boas.
Yes.
Very beautiful, hornets, and a lot of these new like pink panthers and things like that. What would you advise a new breeder who is coming into the hobby and trying to create new things? If they want to create something, how long do you think they should probably wait?
Let's say, for example, my Galaxy Tiger, which is hornet.
Right.
I started the lines in 2017 when I want to make like a 5-line Galaxy
Right.
Tiger,
Right.
and I only get result in 2021-22, which is the stabilize of the 5-line.
Which is like 4 or 5 years already.
Yes,
Right.
and throughout the years I work constantly, so I think at least 4 years to see some kind of result for new shrimps,
right.
and that is being fast.
conservative.
Yeah,
Conservative, right?
Yeah, that's-
Yeah. So 4 years is like fast.
Yes.
Considering that you have like 500 tanks. I don't know how many tanks you have. So 500 tanks. So you need to have that patience to actually wait out and see the
Indeed.
results. Yeah.
Indeed,
And don't
yes.
give up, right? Don't give up.
Oof, it's going to be hard
It's gonna
because
be hard.
the first few years you won't get anything at all.
Yep.
The shrimp will come out. If you actually try to breed something new, then the shrimp will become out really
Correct.
ugly.
Correct.
In a point.
Yeah. So, Hop Bui, thank you very much for accepting this invitation, coming here
You're
and
welcome.
letting me do all these videos, because a lot of people are very, very curious about your knowledge and how you actually set it up, because your success is shown in a lot of competitions, a lot of stream competitions we have seen in the US, we have seen all your great streams. And any last words for new hobbies to come if they are afraid to venture in, because they are afraid that the streams will die, it's very expensive. Some streams are like $600, $1,000.
Yes.
It gets expensive. What is the ultimate goal, like your TB nature type of goal? What would you advise?
I would love to just tell everyone that shrimp is simple, as long as you keep it simple.
Right.
And for me personally, I don't think products are the must for shrimps.
Right.
as long as you keep it simple, the less variation of products are there, and the less you have to look for when the problem occurs. So
Correct.
it's keep it simple, really.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, as
keep
simple
it
as possible.
Right, right.
And eventually the shrimp will adapt. They
Right.
are hardy in nature as
Right.
long as you let them adapt to the tank.
Correct.
That's how it is.
So when we talk about the sharing the information, is that something that the Brother Streams is constantly, or they advocate that it is important, like information is important,
Yes.
knowledge is important?
It is. So I myself is known for as a TV shrimp, but we currently trying to build something called TV Nature,
Right.
which we want coffee, shrimp, and nature all
Right,
together.
right.
And from there, we really aim to show that new customer come in or new shrimpers that shrimp keeping is very simple,
Very
as long
simple.
as you keep it simple.
Correct.
And it's cheap.
Yes.
The only expensive thing is the shrimp itself.
shrimp
if you
itself,
if you
correct.
want to buy high grade shrimp, so we want to teach and show that our method or whatever we're doing is cheap and it's easy for everyone to do.
Yep. I agree.
It can be scary at first when you see your first shrimp die, but just let them adapt.
correct.
We all
And-
been there.
Yeah, we have been there. So between the streams and the breeder, which one is more important?
Important in what point? Like,
So for
what did you mean?
example, if a hobbyist, an unknown hobbyist who is like in Vietnam, right, and he wants to buy streams, and he doesn't know who to go to, and he sees a lot of posts online, and then he started to see that, okay, these are nice streams, these are nice streams. Is the stream a reflection of the breeder?
I think to the point it is. Let's say, for example, for me,
Right.
I would rather buy an ugly shrimp from a beautiful genetic
Right.
than buying a beautiful shrimp,
Shrimp.
in an ugly tank.
Yes,
That's kind of
yes.
thing. Because buying a respectable or renowned or something you trust
Yep.
in genetic wise,
Right.
it will help you a lot in the long term.
In the long term, right?
Yes, because shrimp itself, a shrimp can be beautiful, but genetic wise it can be ugly.
Yep.
Like, you don't know, so the breeder is important, as important. Yes.
All right, man. So thank you guys for watching this video. Enjoy this video. Please remember to give us a thumbs up. And for those who are new to this channel, please remember to subscribe.
Bye.
And until next time, peace out.